The Bill Simmons Podcast, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. All right, we are taping this. It is mid-afternoon Pacific time on Sunday. My buddy Joe House is here. He just did a fairway rolling earlier about the Open. We'll talk about that later. I want to talk hoops. No podcast for me after Saturday night's Game 5, because it was Saturday night. I had a birthday party to go to. Watched it at the party. It was super fun. Came home, watched it again, watched it a third time this morning. House, I am convinced that a Bucks title and the Giannis leap that we've had the last 4 weeks is the best possible thing that could have happened for the NBA. I'm talking big picture, what it means for the league, the storyline behind it, the guy who stayed, the guy who could have had everybody tempting him with, you know, come here to Dallas, you can play with Luka. Go to the New York Knicks, you can play there. Go to one of the LA teams. Go to one of the big markets. You could be a bigger star. He's not about that. Everyone said he was never about that. Stays with his team. They make it better enough that they can compete for a finals. They get some breaks. And then they kind of hit rock bottom. Game 5 Brooklyn series. He sucks it up. And he's just like, I'm not going down. I'm doing everything I can to get here. Hurts his knee, comes back, has 2 iconic plays in the finals, and did everything we've ever wanted from this guy. I gotta say, he's a level higher than I ever thought he was going to be as a player. And just in general, it's such a heartwarming story, isn't it? Like, we have no skin in this game. I'm a Boston fan. You're a DC fan. I don't really care who wins the finals unless I'm betting on it. But I think this is such a great basketball story. I'm really like enamored with it.
It's a damn good story, and it fits exactly the overwhelming, overarching narrative of this NBA season, which to me is last man standing. Like, you know, I would have been fine with a Suns victory in these finals and the coronation of Chris Paul and, you know, everything that goes along with that. And the resuscitation of that franchise under Monty Williams and the story of that Suns team coming together in the bubble last year and ripping off 8 wins and basically not looking back from that. Like, that's a bunch of great storylines.
And the Devin Booker ascension.
Yeah,
too.
right. The emergence of Devin Booker as a super duper star.
And Ayton kind of winning his number 1 pick status.
All of that, right? Validating his number 1 pick status. Yes, all of those storylines that go along with the Suns fit. But this season, across the board, has been about durability, about, just hanging in there. It's been a war of attrition. And that's been the theme that we've been seeing, you know, really from the beginning, with all of the crazy schedule. And, you know, we've seen guys, LeBron complained about all the injuries in the playoffs and made the point about, you know, I told everybody that this was a risk. I mean, and Chris Paul properly clapped back at that with, like, you know, we all had an opportunity to express our point of view on this before the season started. But, like, you know, Jokic won the MVP of the league because he played the most games. He was excellent. He was terrific. He delivered that Denver team to its very highest potential. But really, he won it because he played. He played the games.
It was a reliability, durability award.
And really, that's the theme of this season. And for Giannis especially to come back from an injury that, to all of our eyes, looked like it was going to be, you know, a complete, you know, bunch of tears, ligament tears. And instead, he comes back and he has iconic finals performances. And I am very happy to report the odds flashed up yesterday afternoon.
Oh,
there was some plus odds for Giannis as the MVP of these finals, because, you know, when we're sitting here looking at it, 2-2, it's either going to be CP3 or Giannis. And I saw plus odds for Giannis and I jumped right on it. And you know, fingers crossed that
the
it
rest
works
might
out.
be history.
We'll see.
I had Bucks in 6 before the series, 5-1 odds. Didn't touch it. Didn't really bet any individual game because I just didn't like the individual game odds. But in the back of my head, I was like, I think the Bucks can win They're going to win game 3. That's how it goes. And I think they can win game 4. And then by the time we start heading to game 5, so many things in the series were falling in their favor. But to me, the biggest thing was just like, I think they have the best player. And how many finals have we watched where whoever was either the best player going into it or the best player as the series evolved, that guy's team usually wins. There's exceptions. But I think I was thinking about the journey of Giannis, and we've talked a lot about him the last few weeks, but I really think it's the most important storyline in a while. He comes in, grows 3 inches his first year. His heading into his second year where there was some exhibition season footage. And I remember Jalen and I did one of our last previews before that series got canceled because I got suspended. And I showed him young Giannis stuff. And I'm like, what's this? This looks like something. And he's like, no, too early. But it was at that stage where it was like, oh, this guy might not be a bust, basically. And then over the next 2 years, he becomes the freak. He wins over everyone on Twitter. And it really seems like, oh, this guy's going to be a really good player. He's going to be an all-star. This is great. And then something shifts again. He wins 2 straight MVPs, but there still seemed that piece missing. And think all the dumb arguments we had. And we have even had some on this show about the Batman Robin stuff with him. And it was like, he's better than Robin, but he's still going to need like his version of Kobe in the early 2000s if he's ever going to want to win the title. But my long point leads to this. The stuff he's done the last couple rounds where he's kind of been the Batman, not the Robin. He's added things to his game. Now the Bucks fans will be like, no, he did this in February against Orlando. It's like, no, he's solving shit.
Yeah.
He's solving angles. It's not about just put the wall up and Giannis doesn't know what to do. Just make him shoot threes. Like he's attacking on 45-degree angles now. The stuff he did, there was that one play in the fourth quarter yesterday when it's like 7 minutes left and he had Ayton in front of him on the left side. And he just kind of went right at him, half Euro stepped him, went left, but did a righty scoop shot and got the foul. And it was just like, it feels like he's got like 11 or 12 moves now that he can kind of draw from during these games, right?
Well, he's definitely helped by the fact that they're playing the Suns because the Suns do their very best to muster a version of the wall, but it's really not that formidable a wall. And I don't say this with the intent of dismissing or demeaning how the growth of Giannis and what we've seen out of him in terms of his adapting to what that defense is showing him. But Ayton as the primary defender just is not, he can't handle Giannis one-on-one.
Well, and as a semi-careful defender too, because he doesn't want to get in foul trouble. So I think like if he had a really good backup, and he gets in anyway, he put 45 minutes yesterday, but I think it's always in the back of his mind. And Giannis has been really smart. He's just going at him. He's making him have to defend him. I don't know if he would have done that a year ago. I don't know if he would have realized, like, I'm going to back you down, do this jump hook thing.
Yes,
exactly. I'm going to do this little one-legged floater over your head. I don't care if you foul me. I'll make 1 or 2. I'm just going to keep going to the line, and you guys will all foul out. Like, he doesn't look back. I remember when my daughter was playing soccer, like 10-year-olds, they start really thinking about stuff, like 9, 10-year-olds. Like they may miss a kick or something. You can see it gets in their head. And her coach was like, just be a goldfish. Just swim around. Whatever happened 2 seconds ago doesn't matter. You're a goldfish. Just swim. And I feel like Giannis is a goldfish. So how many free throws did he miss in the last 2 minutes? Like 5 in a row? He just kept going.
He was 4 of 11 from the free throw line last night.
And he missed his last 5?
It could have been it was game changing. It was game changing. I mean, it permitted the Suns to come all the way back, and the Suns had multiple opportunities.
Yeah, Milwaukee's Achilles heel is the free throw shooting. They're a guy short. Phoenix's Achilles heel is they're too small and they're 2 guys short.
Well, now on that point, Giannis led everybody in offensive rebounds last night. He had 5 offensive rebounds, and that has been the story. The Suns' inability to secure a defensive rebound when they need it, and the Suns' turnovers are the thing. That's just those are effort kinds of plays. Now, I'm not suggesting that the Suns haven't been expending max effort, but those are that's the nitty gritty stuff that will determine this championship. I think.
Well, and that's size and length and athleticism, which the Bucks have. They threw that lineup out last night with it was like Lopez, Giannis, Tucker, Middleton, And I think Connaughton, they didn't even have a point guard. Wait, back to the Giannis point. We were kind of bummed out about this finals, like deep down, because it didn't have just felt like an asterisk here. I hate the word asterisk, but it felt like a giant footnote where just all these great players weren't in it. We had, of the best 11 players in the league, 10 of them weren't in the finals, right? And then you think the way this worked out was pretty awesome. We had the Nets didn't get to rig their roster and try to win a title that way. Just karma and bad luck just kind of got them. Same thing for the Lakers, who rigged their title because they were able to get Davis to the Lakers and get everyone else to back off. That backfired this year.
The Lakers fans love you.
Well, the Bucks were kind of the homegrown old school title, which is like, there's multiple ways to win a title, but I always enjoy the ingenuity, loyalty.
Hey, no lottery picks, right?
Right. Giannis lottery picks. I think their highest pick. So that whole part's fun. The whole thing that Milwaukee hasn't won in 50 years. I mean, you're getting that either way with Milwaukee or Phoenix. CP3 now, if Milwaukee ends up winning Game 6, which I feel like they're going to win Game 6. I just think they're better. But, we've seen series where the team was better and blew the Game 6. San Antonio against Miami in 2013. CP3 now, losing this finals, becomes a historic rings culture guy. He might
rings
even be
culture.
Well, that whole thing when everybody talks about rings, do they matter? And they have to list all the players, and it's like Barkley, Malone, Elgin Baylor, and they go through them. So the best 10 guys who've never won a title: Barkley, Malone, Elgin, Chris Paul, Nash, Harden, Gervin, Ewing, Iverson, Russ, in some order. You can order those guys any way you want. CP3, this is the closest, I think, in the finals that any of those guys got, except for Ewing. Ewing had up 3-2. Houston, Game 6, Game 7, but they kind of needed one stop down the stretch of Game 6. They needed to make one shot. They couldn't do it, and then they lose in Game 7. And my thing was, like, I thought the right team won because I thought Hakeem was slightly better than Ewing, and I also thought, like, if your entire season's coming down to a John Starks 3 with Hakeem in his face, maybe you shouldn't win the title. But that was the closest out of those 10 guys. Now, Elgin kind of won a ring because he was on that 72 Lakers team, but he retired during the season. But, it's like barely counts. Out of all those guys, Ewing came the closest, but Chris, up to nothing in the finals, not getting it is devastating.
So the one thing I hope we get after this NBA season is over is
I know what you're going to say.
The revelation from him or through some journalism investigative wise as to his injury, what happened to him, because unless he is able to get himself to Germany between now and Tuesday for an injection of the super steroids,
I'm pretty sure those are illegal, but
that's hey, Kobe went to Germany. All I know is Kobe went to Germany.
No, he liked the food there.
He got a treatment. Well, so, I mean, maybe Chris would like it as well.
He got some wash blood injected back in his knee. I think it was legal.
Well,
do you think Chris needs it? But he needs it in like 4 parts of his body.
It does look like it, right? Because this is the conversation that we're having as we're watching the games, and we're all super attuned. And you and Russillo talked about it after Game 4.
That was like injured or choke. And it's when he's not playing well, he's injured. And when he is playing well, he's fine. So that means then he choked in Game 4. Like we're going back and forth.
I think we know the answer though. I don't. There isn't a difference. He's not choking. He didn't play. He didn't get minutes in Game 4. He is hurt. There's no argument about it.
Or is he old? Because this is a different
both.
I would say he's more old than her because everybody's hurt. Giannis is fucking hurt. Giannis can't even do the Euro steps anymore.
Yeah, Giannis is 10 years younger than him.
I know, but that's the thing. If you're trying to win the title with a 37-year-old guy and you got to go 4 rounds in a whole condensed season, like this is the shit that happens.
Right. I
have some stats for you. Chris Paul from round 2 through the first 2 finals games, he was 25-9, 4 rebounds. He shot 52, 50, 95. Only 2.1 turnovers, 4.6 free throw attempts. Remember that. 4.6 free throw attempts. His last three, 17, 9, and 2, 52, 44, 67. Still not bad for the splits. 3.3 turnovers, 1.0 free throw attempts. And the body language doctor has not liked the body language from him.
What's not even the language? It's the body. The body language doctor doesn't like the body because the body, he can't penetrate and kick. You shared with us the shot chart from games 3 and 4. Milwaukee has taken away the corner 3 from the Suns, but the Suns have been complicit in this attribute because CP3 cannot penetrate and kick. He just can't physically do it. We're wondering whether he can dribble with his left hand.
Yeah, sometimes he can, sometimes he can't. They're making Booker, they're kind of good with Booker getting 40 points.
It's apparent now. I mean, it's a risky strategy.
Yeah, but it's a little reminiscent. I think the first guy I remember doing this was Pop in 05 against Nash, when he was just like, we're taking rid of everybody. We're getting rid of everybody else. Nash, knock yourself out. Get your 35 to 40. Nash kind of didn't know what to do. He had one-on-one. It was the right matchup every time. Same thing with Booker. They've closed out on the corners. It happened again. We talked about it on this pod after game 4 with Jackie and Sierra. And then same thing, game 5. The Suns shot really well. That was one of the weird things about this game. They shot 55%. They made 2 out of every 3 threes, 68%. They shot 90% for the free throw line. They're playing home and they lost.
Your boy, Zach Cram. We have a nice Cram fact in here. Teams shooting 60% on at least 20 3-point attempts were 12-0, winning by an average margin of 24 points. And the Suns last night shot 62% on 21 3-point attempts and lost the game. I mean, it's some record-breaking stuff is going on here.
It's a tough one. Well, going back to the Giannis and the outcome, and then we'll take a break. But KD makes that 3.
It's a foot back. It's a damn big toe away.
So we have a ton of what ifs that come out of these playoffs.
Yes.
We have Chris Paul now as this just all-time, like, I feel bad for that guy. What a worrier. I'm actually not going to hold the fact that he's never won a finals against him. But by the way, he never won a finals. You have the old school homegrown guy leading his team, not thinking about leaving. You have that whole thing. And on top of it, KD stepping on the line put some chest hair on Giannis.
It sure
turns
did.
out to be the greatest thing that ever happened to Giannis, because if KD hits that 3 and the Nets go to the next round, they probably win, and maybe the Suns beat the Nets. Kyrie might be back at that point. Maybe Harden's okay. Maybe the Nets win easily. But we never have these last 2 rounds for Giannis. And then we head to the next season around Giannis. All right, what's up with him? What is this guy? What is he?
Well, and Coach Bud gets fired. So immediately Milwaukee in a type of turmoil just because it all comes down to KD's big toe.